Hello, beautiful beings. Doozer and I just got up, and I wanted to share my realization shift, whatever I had last night. I was sitting here at the table, and a thought of somebody came in, and my mind or other thoughts judged it as inappropriate. And so I instantly went to turn my attention away from the thought. And I said, I'm not doing that anymore. I don't really know ancients. So processes, or do they call it processes, are important for a while. They're useful for a while. But I didn't realize that there'd come a point where I wouldn't be needing to turn my attention away from thoughts anymore. But that's our own natural state of being, is to be being. No resistance, no processes. Now, this morning, I'm seeing that my attention is less and less on thoughts at all. The process that has been so useful for so long to help me, the presence practice, at this point, if I kept doing it, that would just be useless attention on thoughts. So that's really exciting. Always when I'm going through a super intense shed like I would just came out of, it's always feels incredibly difficult right before a major shift in perception. And like I say, it's always worth it, no matter how painful it feels in the meantime. And now I'm able to see fully how life circumstances were all set up to help mirror like the remnants, hopefully, of that type of fear that I was going through, or that was going through me. That's how Muji puts it. It's not like we're going through anything. When we're shedding, things are going through us. They're coming up, we're seeing it, experiencing it again, and then shining our light of awareness on it, and then shoo, it's gone. Over and over and over until it's over, the shedding process. I am not saying that it's over. I'm just saying that I'm at a place that I've never been before, but where I've always been, they're adding. I think that's it for now. Maybe a video later. It's up to all of us. It's not just me just waiting. They always say that we are the same, even though I perceive it as coming through from them. There's often times where I don't hear that anymore. I'm just automatically, oh, okay, I'm recording a video. It used to be if I was to just wake up and felt compelled to record a video, I would argue because of, I just woke up. How do I look? But I've outgrown that. There's a little bit now and then when I'm going through a shed, like when I was in the thick of it and I went to the car dealership to see if they could do anything to help me. I just felt sick that day. So much anxiety, and my hair. I had worked that day and I had it up, and it was a little damp when I had put it up. So it looked like bozo right here. It was just all poofed out. I couldn't smooth it down at all. And so I was already in my head, and I felt, I always feel unattractive when I'm in my head. It doesn't feel like I am the perfume of presence anymore. It feels like I'm the stink of the mind. No, thoughts, not the mind. Overthinking, the stink of overthinking. So when I went down there, I didn't feel very confident to begin with. But then how I looked, it didn't help at all. But see, those situations, as I was sitting there just for a minute thinking about how my hair looked and trying to put it back like this, trying to smooth it down a little bit, I was reminded to look out of my eyes instead of at myself with my thoughts. And that's beautiful presence practice. And then Dan showed up, and then my dad showed up, and they kept me entertained. Plus the people, the two men that I was working with that day, they're not too pretty themselves. But they have beautiful hearts. So we were all in the same boat. Or the same car. Oh, I just feel, and that's beautiful to know too, even when it feels so thick, to know that I'm in a shed. I knew I was in a shed more this time than I ever have. And that does help a lot. So, wow. I don't even have the idea. I'm not entertaining any thoughts just automatically about what am I going to do today? I have another day off. I should do something. No. Nope. I'm going to see how it goes, because along with that process leaving, turning my attention away from thoughts, there's just so many less thoughts. Some beings, like my original remembering with Muji, May 6, 2013, was like this. Effortless, no thoughts for 3 whole days. And throughout this ascension process, I have caught on to the fact that the more useless personal identity we shed off, then we're back in that just automatic mode of our own true nature. And it feels like that more than ever now. I can fully see it now. The one person that I felt like was acting up a bit right before I reached this yet another level I'm very, very close to her. And it's always been a very, very potent test for me. How present are you? How triggered can you still be by somebody you really love when they are unconscious? Are you going to be unconscious also? I was a bit unconscious. They're showing me I wasn't knocked unconscious. I was floating in the water, face up, and I was still conscious, but there was the potential to go down. All I had to do was just relax the best I could. My mom, Ocean, she could float like no other. Felt like she was made out of half cork. Yeah, the judgment. That I didn't realize there was so much judgment, and that's what this beautiful person in my life I love so much, that's what she reflects, that's what she mirrors in me, is judgment specifically, and judging the thoughts that are coming in as bad or good. I saw that last night. Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. This particular person that came in, thoughts about him that I was judging automatically and immediately turning my attention away from, that's what I set it to, because when thoughts about this person come in, it's intuitive, it's telepathic. I don't need to shut them out. I don't need to do anything with them. I don't need to entertain them or push them away or anything. And they're here for as long as they are, and then they go. I can get a good feeling from them. That's okay too, they're saying. I can even get an icky feeling from certain thoughts. But I don't need to resist them, judge them, push them away, entertain them, anything. I'm digging it. I'm digging a lot. it feels like getting out of the way even more. From stick shift to automatic. When I was driving this Subaru Forester 2015, just like mine, just like Black Sapphire, yesterday I was just like, I really like automatic over stick shift. I used to really just love stick shift because I had a little white Mazda with a sunroof. It was one of the nicest cars I'd ever had. It was only $1,200. I was running with Big Al, Big Al Maskowitz, and the boys, Eddie DeBartolo and the boys. And yeah, Big Al was Eddie DeBartolo's best friend, and we became friends. I know, it's so crazy. What a crazy story. But they used to come into the hideout where I worked for a really long time bartending. That's how I supported my daughters. My 3 daughters was by bartending and construction. I'm not sure where I keep going. I'm not watching anything. Up into the trees. So sometimes, well, I would be bartending and Big Al would call and he'd say, hey kid, is it really busy today? And I'd give him the report and he'd say, we're coming down. I was just like, okay. And he would tell me how much money to feed into each. They had a row of their own machines that they liked the best. So when they were coming, people knew that they had to stop playing on those machines so I could feed the machines. Eddie's was a minimum of 500. It was usually 1,000 that I had to feed in there. And that was time consuming. At least 5-6 machines I had to feed, plus make all the drinks for the people in the bar too. It was no easy task, but it was definitely worth it, because when they would get there, and I'm raising my girls, on my own. So this was such a huge blessing from the divine. Juicer snap! I'd get the machines all fed and, be running around making drinks, and they would come in, hey, how's it going, kid? And Big Al would stop at the bar and give me a hug, and so, then I would follow along like a little puppy. Say, oh, hi, Eddie, how are you? So good to see you. And all the boys, they were so awesome. Usually they were really super awesome. And, retired baseball players, stuff like that. To a small town girl, it was pretty interesting. Big Al, the way we met, well, they were always coming in to gamble. And I was a cocktail waitress when I first met him, and I kept a wide berth around him. My intuition was telling me that he was a dangerous person. But I found out that, well, yeah, he used to be super dangerous, but he was only mildly dangerous when I was friends with him. And he had been sober for 10 years at that point. And if he could get sober, I wasn't sober yet. I was still drinking. And if he could get sober, anybody could get sober. And he's the first one I went back to AA with. He came with me to my first meeting back. And anyway, so Eddie would tip me no less than $500 for feeding all the machines. And every time I would bring them a drink, throughout all the hours that they were there, they would tip me no less than $20. Yeah. Eddie would usually give me $100 when I would bring him a drink. So at the end of the night, I would dump all my tips in a big paper bag, and I'd go home. I would go home, and my girls and I would dump that money out on the floor, and we would sit there and count it. Yeah. And so the one day that I really wanted this car, I was working up at a private club at that point, a golf club, and I helped build it in 99, and then I started bartending there in 2000. And anyway, I was still friends with Big Al, and he would still call me and say, hey kid, what are you doing? Do you have time after work to come down and gamble with us? And he'd hand me a stack of stack of 20s, and the rule was like I couldn't just take the stack of 20s and go. I had to gamble it. And Big Al would be sitting beside me, and he'd be keeping an eye on it. He'd make sure I didn't, because I wasn't very good at it for some reason, and I would lose a lot often. He wouldn't let me lose a whole bunch of money because he didn't give me a whole bunch. Just enough, huh? Just enough to keep me hooked. But anyway, it was highly advantageous to myself and my daughters, of course. And I mean, I can't believe how much it helped us back then. And so I told him, I said, there's a little white Mazda. My car was it was on its last leg. I usually drove my cars until the wheels fell off, literally at times. I said, yeah, there's a Honda, really cute little Honda I really want for $1,200. And he hands me the stack of 20s, and I start feeding the machine, and he kept an eye on it. And at 1,200, he was just like, I kept looking at him, and he could pretend like he wasn't watching, but then he'd be watching, and he'd say, okay, kid, cash in. And it was $1,200, and I went and bought that car the next day. She was just like, yeah, I'm selling my car. I was just like, are you kidding me? How much? And she said it. And I said, please hold off one more day. And, yeah, it worked out perfect. And I had that car for many, many years. So I'm not sure why I told you that story about that Honda, the car. Is that it for now, Ancients? No, I'll have to tell that story sometime. Yeah, I was getting bullied really bad one time in a roommate situation. Yeah, I'll write that down so I tell you. Yeah, I was getting bullied, and I woke up one morning just at my wit's end. I was very scared. And was it in a dream, or was it in a vision that morning? Either way, he came to me in a vision, and he was just like, call in a favor. And so that's the rest of the story. Call in a favor. That'll be the title of my next video, maybe. It was really amazing. Okay. Is that it for now, Ancients? I feel like I can hear and feel them even better now, too. It's softer. Well, there's less resistance. There goes my nitchy O's, Steve. My nitchy O's. SotsongwithmamaG@gmail.com. We love you so much.